Today's headlines. Unvaxxed Pinoys face lockdown. Man quarantine hotels, PNP told. Rody, no religious activities this time. Abalos encourages home isolation. Philippines grateful for Taiwan's generosity. North Korea says it tested hypersonic missile. Serbia's president blasts Australia's maltreatment of Djokovic. Northeast monsoon to bring rains in Northern Luzon. Good morning, I'm Roy Pelovelio, and this is Tribune News on Q. Today is January 6, 2022, and these are the latest news this Thursday morning. As COVID-19 cases breached 10,000 on Wednesday, state officials are mulling over the possibility of expanding restrictions for unvaccinated Filipinos nationwide amid the rising number of COVID-19 cases and the emergence of the Omicron variant. Presidential Advisor for COVID-19 Response Vince Dizon made a pitch, saying 4 cabinet officials are backing the suggestion to bar unvaccinated people from leaving their homes, a policy which was first implemented in Metro Manila. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III, Vaccine Czar, Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., Interior Secretary Eduardo Año, and Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana have expressed support to the recommendation, the official added. Duterte had no immediate response to the suggestion. Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles, who is also acting presidential spokesperson, said the National Pandemic Task Force will likely discuss the matter today. On the other hand, Calabarzon's Regional Task Force Against COVID-19 issued a memorandum on Wednesday, urging local officials within the region to adopt Metro Manila's restrictions on unvaccinated individuals. The Philippines reported 10,775 new COVID-19 cases on Wednesday, bringing the total caseload to 2,871,745, the Department of Health said. These infections were the highest reported cases since 10 October, when confirmed cases were at 12,159. Of the reported cases, 10,668 occurred over the past 2 weeks, from 23 December to 5 January 2022. A total of 7,420 cases were from the National Capital Region. Calabarzon with 1,719 cases, and Central Luzon with 798 cases. Based on its latest case bulletin, the news cases pushed the country's active cases to 39,974, of which 1,294 are asymptomatic, 33,866 are mild, 2,983 are moderate, 1,512 are severe, and 319 are in critical condition. Earlier this week, Metro mayors have agreed to prohibit unvaccinated people from stepping out of their homes except when accessing essential goods and during medical emergencies. Policemen will not only conduct surprise, random inspections of the designated quarantine hotels following the escape of a guest who turned out positive for COVID-19 last week. Philippine National Police Chief General Leonardo Carlos has also ordered the force to station personnel in quarantine hotels aside from the completion of their usual duties and functions. Carlos instructed PNP Deputy Chief for Operations, Lieutenant General Israel Ephraim Dixon, to strategize and rationalize the deployment. PNP spokesperson Colonel Rodrigo Augustus Alba disclosed on Wednesday. The order came after President Rodrigo Duterte told Interior Secretary Eduardo Año and in effect the PNP leadership to station lawmen in hotels to prevent returning overseas Filipinos from skipping quarantine. Duterte also asked the PNP to deploy about 600 cops who will monitor the quarantine hotels. Año had earlier ordered the PNP to conduct random or surprise inspections at quarantine hotels. Following the president's order, Dixon, who is also the commander of the police-led Joint Task Force COVID Shield, was directed to ensure that other tasks of the PNP, such as the ongoing relief and rehabilitation efforts for victims of Typhoon Odette and other public safety and security services, will not be compromised. This comes as authorities are looking into the possibility of filing more charges against the hotel where Gwyneth and Chua was supposed to undergo quarantine. She was dubbed as the Poblacion Girl for partying in an entertainment strip in Makati while she was COVID positive. A case of falsification of public document can also be filed against the Berjaya Hotel in Makati City, as it sent information to the Bureau of Quarantine claiming that Chua was in its care but was not. Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya, the Department of Interior and Local Government spokesperson, disclosed to Daily Tribune's morning show Gising Na. 11 of Chua's close contacts have tested positive for COVID-19, Malaya reported, citing data from the Department of Health. President Rodrigo Duterte has appealed to churches to suspend religious activities amid the spike of COVID-19 cases in the country. Duterte made the call in his public address Tuesday night as he stressed the need to protect public health and safety, according to the president. He said the government might send a letter to religious leaders to formalize the appeal. He particularly cited the Traslacion, or the annual procession of the Black Nazarene from Quirino Grandstand in Luneta to Quezon Boulevard, which draws thousands of devotees. Earlier in the day, the National Task Force Against COVID-19 issued a resolution suspending this year's Traslacion. Duterte expressed hopes that the Catholic Church will understand the government's decision. About 80% of the Philippine population belongs to the Catholic Church, making it an important moral and cultural force in the country. Metro Manila and its nearby provinces are currently under Alert Level 3, where religious gatherings are allowed based on the current guidelines. Churches and other indoor establishments may accommodate fully vaccinated individuals with a 30% cap on venue capacity. It expands to 50% if gatherings are held outdoors. Tribune News on Q will be back after these short reminders.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Si Harry Roque ang pinakamagaling na spokesman, kaya inggit sa kanya ang oposisyon.
Tama lang na ipinaglaban ko ang balik trabaho para bumalik ang kita ng mga nagtatrabaho at naghahanap buhay. Hindi pwedeng magutom ang pamilya. Dapat lang po ingat buhay para sa hanap buhay. Basta trabaho, kita at hanap buhay ang nakataya. Nasa harap niyo po ako.
Ibigay natin ang tudong suporta kay Harry.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
We're back on Tribune News on Q. As COVID-19 cases swell anew, Metropolitan Manila Development Authority Chairperson Benhor Abalos on Wednesday encouraged victims with mild symptoms to quarantine at home and help decongest hospitals for those with serious conditions. Abalos also described the growth of coronavirus cases in the National Capital Region as exponential. He reported that 34.15% of 95 isolation facilities are already occupied this early in the uptake in cases. Abalos also urged the public to not be alarmed as there are now more vaccinated people in the NCR. Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship, Joey Concepcion, emphasized that hospital capacity must guide decisions about alert levels, saying that the country must change its mindset into one that takes into account the healthcare system and vaccination levels among the population. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III said that healthcare utilization should be part of the scorecard and that it will need to be monitored closely, insisting that while Omicron appears to be milder, it could easily overwhelm the healthcare system should it become the dominant variant. Duque said the country must prevent breaching the red line of healthcare utilization and continue to protect the vulnerable who are likely to overwhelm the hospitals. All the experts were in agreement that the public must continue to observe the minimum public health standards. The Philippines on Wednesday expressed gratitude to the government of Taiwan or Republic of China for its numerous donations to help the victims of Typhoon Odette in the Visayas and Mindanao. In a text message to Daily Tribune, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, the main agency providing immediate assistance to the typhoon victims, said it is thankful for the generosity of the neighboring territory. Dumel said the humanitarian and financial assistance given by the government of Taiwan will be used to augment the resources of the government in its rehabilitation during the last week of December last year. The TECO became busy handing out donations to its counterpart, Ormeco, headed by its chairman Wilfredo B. Fernandez. 2 shipments of relief goods worth $50,000 composed of bottled water, canned tuna, instant noodles, food rations, tents, cookies, and water filters arrived in the country. The donations include 350 boxes of water, 206 boxes of instant noodles, 18 boxes of canned tuna, 225 boxes of cookies, 46 boxes of tents, 17 boxes of water filters, and 835 boxes of food rations. These donations arrived at General Benito Ebuen Air Base in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu, through Taiwan's C-130 aircraft. The ceremonial turnover was also attended by officials from the Office of Civil Defense and the Philippine Air Force. North Korea has successfully tested a hypersonic missile, state media reported Thursday, in the first major weapons test by the nuclear-armed nation this year. This was the second reported North Korean test of a hypersonic gliding missile to date, following one in September last year, as Pyongyang looks to add the sophisticated weapon to its arsenal, despite international sanctions and condemnation. Hypersonic missiles move far faster and are more agile than standard ones, making them much harder for missile defense systems on which the United States is spending billions to intercept. The missile fired on Wednesday carried a hypersonic gliding warhead that precisely hit a target 700 kilometers away, the official Korean Central News Agency reported, without specifying the launcher used for the test. Seoul and Tokyo on Wednesday had detected the launch of a suspected ballistic missile from North Korea that fell in the sea east of the Korean peninsula. Hypersonic missiles are generally defined as traveling more than 5 times the speed of sound, or Mach 5. The KCNA report did not mention the speed at which the missile traveled, and assessments of its performance from other nations have yet to be released. Hypersonic missiles are among the top priority tasks in North Korea's current 5-year plan, state media said last year. After the test of the Hwasong-8 in 2021, the South Korean military said it appeared to be in the early stages of development. Tribune News on Q will be back after these short reminders.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Mga katribu, tara na't makiisa at matuto sa mga public service programs hatid ng Kalingang Katribu. Tuwing Lunes, nandyan ang usapang business na magbibigay tips at inspirasyon sa mga aspiring entrepreneurs kasama sina Comfy Manalo at Vernon Velasco. Tuwing Miyerkules, usapang pangkalusugan naman ang tatalakayin ni Miss Cory Quirino sa Health and Wellness. At tuwing Biyernes naman, kung legal advice ang kailangan mo, sagot ka na ng Legal Diaries kasama si Elmer Navarro Manuel at mga guest lawyers. Lahat ng yan mapapanood tuwing 3:30 ng hapon sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Makinig at makisali sa usapan every Friday night at 6 p.m. sa I Speak Katribu Podcast. Samahan sina Daniel at Alvin na pag-usapan ang mga relevant topic na tiyak kakarelatean nyo mga katribu. At pagdating ng Sunday at 7 p.m., Speak Your Mind with our I Speak program na sasagot sa mga tanong regarding the latest and relevant issues sa paligid natin. I-like at i-follow nyo ang Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube para updated ka sa mga latest episode namin mga katribu.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
We're back on Tribune News on Q. Serbia's president on Wednesday blasted Australia for the maltreatment of Novak Djokovic, as the world's #1 had his visa cancelled after arriving in Melbourne. President Alexander Vučić said on Instagram he spoke with Djokovic over the phone and told him that the whole of Serbia is with him and that our authorities are undertaking all measures in order that maltreatment of the world's best tennis player ends as soon as possible. Earlier Wednesday, Djokovic's father said his son was held captive for 5 hours at Melbourne Airport, where he had arrived to take part in this month's Australian Open, where he is the 9-time champion. He even threatened taking protests to the streets if his son was not released in half an hour. Australia border officials said the entry visa of the 34-year-old Djokovic was cancelled for failing to meet strict entry requirements. The Serb star had landed in Melbourne earlier Wednesday after celebrating on social media that he had a medical exception to play in the Australian Open, without proof he was fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The exemption granted by tournament organizers after his application had been cleared by 2 medical panels sparked fury among Australians who have endured lockdowns and restrictions for 2 years. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration on Thursday that northeast monsoon is currently affecting Northern Luzon. Pag-asa said that Caragao will have cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms, while Batanes, Cagayan, Isabela, Aurora, and Quezon will have cloudy skies with light rains. The rest of Northern Luzon will have partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rains. Metro Manila and the rest of the country will experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. Temperature will range from 22.2 degrees Celsius to 30.4 degrees Celsius. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the following: the SM Store, Araneta Center, the Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Roy Pelovelio and you are watching Tribune News on Cue. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning.
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tercito are available on our community Viber.